Peace, 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 peace. It is your sister Roo, MaWu Lisa Temple, beautiful upstate New York, Hudson Valley. And we are excited to be coming to you today, Nick, on the verge of what? The storm of the century, they say. So what better place to be than to be with us talking about books? Because if you snowed in, what you going to do? You better read these books. So we got some bangers for you today. I'm excited to be back with you. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is not, welcome back. We got some stuff for you today. It's a surprise me week, so we don't know what each other has. So just like you finding out, we finding out. So with that being said, Nick, how was your week, brother? Are you prepared for this storm of the century? You prepped up and ready?
Listen, I'm hoping it's not actually going to be the storm of the century. I'm hoping it'll just be the storm of 2016 and the storm of 2006. You know, those decade storms. If it's like that, I think I can manage. It'll be a little inconvenient, but I think I can manage. But I'm not looking forward to it either way. I can definitely do without the snow. Granted, we get the snow days off from school, but at some point, I still got to go back out there and shovel and travel in it. And, you know, it's going to be there for a while and until the temperature gets warm enough for it to melt. But, you know, I was just hoping I'm as ready as I'm going to be, you know. I mean, I don't own a generator though, but I don't know how I would hook up a generator to an apartment building. But anyway. Yeah, that's that. But yes, greetings out there to everyone. Welcome back. You know, I always look forward to discussing books and getting on here, and you know, I'm excited. It's a surprise me week, so I can't wait to see what Roo is going to blow my socks off with this time, because he's been talking about how good this offering is going to be. Yes. So I'm excited about that. And before we get into these offerings, I have to give a shout out, because you did ask me about my week. So I do have to give a shout out to the Black Lit Book Group, created by Greenlight Bookstores. I was hanging out with them on Wednesday evening. We got together to discuss. We got together in Brooklyn and discussed the book "God Bless You, Otis Spunkmeyer" by Joseph Earl Thomas, and we had a great discussion. Had a great time hanging out with them. So if you're in the New York City area, check out Greenlight Bookstores, and they have several. So I mean, aside from the bookstore itself, they have several events that they host. If you're Black like us, you can check out the Black Lit Group. But if you're not Black like us, it's not just a Black thing. It's a it's a book thing. So they got plenty of options of books that you can buy and read, and also events that you can attend. So, you know, shout outs to them. So with that being said, you know,
so we got to support our bookstores. Our bookstores.
Yes, especially our independent ones.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I agree. So shout out to them. Shout out. So Nick, look, I'm going to keep it a buck with you, right? You know, I love talking about what I love talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, usually theology is all up in there. So I'm just going to say that part, you know. Okay. So know that I'm coming from that space. So, but you know what? Because I'm so excited about this, I don't even know if I want to go first, because I think I monopolize all the time.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I don't need a lot of time for mine. So I'll go first. I'll warm it up for you.
Warm it up, Nick. Warm it up, Nick. See, usually you be singing. Now I warm it up, Nick.
Yeah, got it.
Got to get the spirit. Let's get it.
Yep. That's right. So I'm gonna share my screen because I got my virtual background going on. So I'm going to share the book cover on the screen rather than holding up the book so you all can see it clearly.
Okay,
so I just let the spirit talk to me in terms of what book to bring for both the surprise me and the non-surprise me weeks. And spirit told me that I haven't brought any fiction in a while because quite a few offerings I brought fiction, but the last few offerings, last offering I brought the prayer of Jabez, and then the offering before that, I think it was the Watch for the Light.
It was the keys.
Oh yeah, the keys, the Gene Keys, and then before that it was Watch for the Light. So out of those, the last few offerings haven't been any fiction. And then I also bought some. I think I bought business or investing at some point in the last quarter or the last half of 2025. So it's been a while since I brought some fiction. So I'm going to bring some fiction back into the cipher.
Okay.
And this is a book that, again, the spirit just told me to bring this book because it's one that's been on my shelf for a very long time and I still haven't read it. But I read another book by this author, and I think it was that name recognition that caused me to pick up this book. And this book, I didn't buy it. It was left over in one of the schools that I used to work at. So before the school closed, of course, we got to clean up and get rid of things. And this is one of the books that I found in that school. And I decided to keep it because of my familiarity and recognition of the author's name. So my offering for this episode is bringing some Zadie Smith back out.
Woo!
Bringing some Zadie Smith back out, and my offering is NW by Zadie Smith. NW by Zadie Smith.
NW.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not seeing the picture up yet.
Okay, yeah, it's up there. It might be because you're on well, I'm not sure why you might not be seeing it, but
okay.
Yeah, it's up.
But it is up there. Okay,
yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, it is up there. So let me see if okay. So Goddess Rael says she can see it.
Okay, as long as everybody can see it. Awesome. Yep.
So shout out to the Goddess Rael and Pronoia
Peace to the goddess.
Yep.
Peace to the goddess.
Yep. Peace to the goddess, and then she'll probably be responding in that voice, peace to the mother.
Yes, my love. Yes, my love.
Yeah, peace to the mother.
Yes, thank you, babe.
Yeah.
So talk to us, Nick. NW. Okay. Talk to me.
NW. All right. So NW, Zadie Smith, and the book that I read from Zadie Smith maybe about a decade ago. She has a book called White Teeth. So I read White Teeth and I watched the miniseries. And I forgot who gave me White Teeth. Somebody gave me White Teeth because there was some type of Facebook trend, not trend, but Facebook thread or something going on where the book lovers were sending books to each other, and it was kind of like a chain. It was like a chain message, but it was just a chain of sending books to each other. So I received White Teeth by Zadie Smith from one of those Facebook kind of chains, but it came from from someone I knew. It might have came from did it come from Courtney from School of Communications? Might have been Courtney. Yeah, it might have been that Courtney because there's multiple Courtneys. So I think it might have been Courtney that did journalism with me in college. I think she might have sent me White Teeth if I remember correctly. but it was Ty that put me up on the mini series. But anyway, NW by Zadie Smith. So let's go into what this one is about, and I'll go into the author's background, the publication information, and all that good stuff. But what is this book about? It says, this is the story of a city, the northwest corner of a city. Here you will find guests and hosts, those with power and those without it. People who live, take this down. Yeah, people who live somewhere special and others who live nowhere at all, and many people in between. Every city is like this, cheek by jowl living, separate worlds. And then there are the visitations, the rare times a stranger crosses a threshold without permission or warning, causing a disruption in the whole system. Like the April afternoon, a woman came to Leah Hanwell's door seeking help, disturbing the peace, forcing Leah out of her isolation. Zadie Smith's brilliant, tragic comic new novel follows 4 Londoners, Leah, Natalie, Felix, and Nathan, as they try to make adult lives outside of Caldwell, the council estate of their childhood. From private houses to public parks, at work and at play, their London is a complicated place, as beautiful as it is brutal, where the thoroughfares hide the back alleys, and taking a high road can sometimes lead you to a dead end. Depicting the modern urban zone, familiar to town dwellers everywhere, Zadie Smith's NW is a quietly devastating novel of encounters, mercurial and vital, like the city itself. So that's what the book is about, and it takes place in London because the author Zadie Smith is from London. So that's her right there. Yeah, there. See if I can. I might have
to navigate that one through the.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, or I'll just take this down for.
Yeah, or at least just show it to our lovely audience.
Yeah, I'll just take this background down for a moment.
Okay.
My background's a little busy. That's why I had the virtual background there until I switch it back to my bookshelf. I just got to do some rearranging in the workspace first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you see all my numerology stuff in the background, but there she is right there.
Okay. Yep. Yes, sister. Yes.
Yep.
I love it. And I love that name, Zadie. That's pretty.
Yep. She was born in London in 1975. Mm-hmm. Like I said, she's the author of White Teeth. That's the other book that I've read from her. The only book that I've read from her so far. And she's also written The Autographed Man, On Beauty, and the essay collection Changing My Mind. And this book NW, it came out in 2012.
2012.
Yep, it came out in 2012 by the Penguin Press, New York. And it's about 400 pages.
Oh, it's nice. Yes, a thick one.
Yeah, it's about 400 pages, but it seems to be an easy read, and the print is pretty large too, so it has pretty decent sized print, and the line spacing, it's not single spaced either. It's about like the not 1.5 but 1.15 line spacing, so that also kind of makes it seem so thick as well. But it looks like, because of the print and the font and the fact that it's a novel, you can probably get through it fairly quickly.
Right.
And as far as the chapters, how it's set up, let's take a look at the chapters, a look inside, see if there's any chapters in here. Well, there's no table of contents, but there are chapters.
Okay.
There are chapters. and there's sections and chapter numbers. But yeah, I've been eyeing this book for a while. Listen, Roo, we always talk about in paradise, and when we talk about our paradise, the ability to just not have too many responsibilities and just have an ability to just either study or just to read books.
Yes.
And the struggle is just having the time to get to all these books, because I had this book since about at least 2017, if not earlier. Yeah, and I still haven't gotten to it.
Hey, listen, so be like that.
Yeah, there's so many books, so many books that I get, and then sometimes I get tapped to engage in these book discussions where I gotta move a book up higher on the list and move another book down the list, and then we have our self-development and our spiritual development that causes us to prioritize certain books over others, and just the functionality of books in terms of the information that's in them, and us having to use the information. So, but I'm going to try my best to prioritize reading NW in 2026. So NW is up there. The Prayer Jabez, I want to get to 2026 as well. And I also will probably want to do some rereads in 2026. Oh, the Gene Keys too. I should get to the Gene Keys in 2026. Is
I had a request on that one.
yeah. I got some others that I got to finish. I'll mention one of them. I'm not going to mention the other one because it could be a possible unread offering. So I'm not going to mention that one, but I will mention the Bhagavad Gita. So I'm going to work on finishing that. I think I'm in the last chapter or a couple chapters of that. So I'll hope to willfully get Zadie Smith's NW into the rotation.
Get into
the rotation, and White Teeth is also set in London or somewhere in that area, but I'm just curious to see where the story takes us. What's the commentary around London and the urban zones that she presents through the characters and through the plot, and then also recognizing that the authors and the writers, they reflect the work that they put out. And being that she's from London, I'm looking to see what kind of insights I'll get about her and her background, being born in London and living in London, through the characters and the story that she created here. So, NW by Zadie Smith. It's my offering.
Yes. Now, Nick, let me ask you, a book like that one versus some of the other books you bring, like the Gene Key and stuff like that, obviously that take a little more time to sit down and, make notes and things like that. A book like this, it'll take you about 3 days or so if you sat down with that dedicated, because I've seen you go through some pretty thick books.
Oh yeah. And it also depends on how well the story is written. If the story is too slow, or if it's not interesting, then it might take you longer. Or if you grapple with the writing style, then that can cause it to cause you. Yeah, it could take longer. I went through. Yeah, and you're right, because I went through Will Smith's book. I went through that in about 4 or 5 days, in less than a week, and that's a very, very thick book.
Right, very thick book. Yes. Now
Yeah.
compared to White Teeth, because I hadn't heard of that when I wrote that. I've been making some notes over here for myself. Compared to White Teeth, um, how big was that one? Was it about the same size?
Yeah, it's about the same. I don't have that one here with me.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, she's a reader too,
Yes.
so and that's probably where I get it from. But
Yes.
I figured it would be a story she might like, so I passed it on to her.
Very, very nice. Hey, listen, when you share books, that sharing books and sharing food, highest form of love for me.
Yeah. So
You know
I
what I'm
feel,
saying?
yeah.
Sharing books and sharing love, yo. Like what? Come on, food. That's all love for me.
Yeah,
Now,
but yeah, I would say it's about the same though. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, it sounds interesting. And I'm always interested in the perspective of our people, their stories from these different places. I have a son that lives in the UK and I have one that lives in Germany. He's lived in different places. And when I talk to him about the culture, like what our culture looks like there, they always, are able to tell me quite interesting stories. So it definitely sounds like something I would want to take a dive into. And like I said, I've never heard of these stories before. So I did hear the author, but I did not hear didn't hear much about the stories. People, they'll mention the author in passing because they know we do book shows. But I had somebody ask me, had we had anything that was like in our first year.
Okay.
I had someone ask me about Zadie. And I remember because I remember the name. I thought it was a pretty name. So, but yeah, it sounds like a great book. I'm always interested to know, about the settings and other places and the stories. So, just from what you've seen so far, what aspect of it do you look forward to reading the most about?
I want to know what this plot is about, because it mentions Leah Hanwell and some woman coming to her door seeking help, disturbing her peace and forcing her out of her isolation. I think that was the most intriguing part of the description there. So
Right.
so I'm very curious to see what that woman needed help for, and how that drives the rest of the narrative and how it connects to these other four main characters, because it mentions the story of four Londoners: Leah, Natalie, Felix, and Nathan. So I'm because Leah, that's the name of the woman who she got the unexpected guest. So I just wonder if all four of their stories are going to be intertwined, or they're going to be like separate subplots. Or okay, so I just taught my students about dual plot structure. So I wonder if it's going to be like a multiple plot structure, and at some point, are these stories going to interact, or are they going to intersect at some point? So I think that's what I'm most excited and anticipating the most for reading this book.
Well, first of all, let me just say it's always so beautiful. Listen, y'all, my brother, it's great having a brother that's a teacher because I learn new stuff. I love to learn something new every day. And just like what you said about what you're teaching your students now about dual story structure, things like that. We didn't learn about stuff like that when I was in school. We were pretty much left a lot to our own devices when it came to a lot of stuff. But like mom, was a heavy influence in my love for reading, and the same thing with my children. So it's just like being able to share this kind of space, share this kind of information. I love that you left this book with your mom. Yeah, it sounds like a great read. And when you finish this one, we look forward to hearing you come back and talk to us a little bit more about it, because I'm interested. I really am. And I'd like to hear more about white teeth. You know what I mean? Because that definitely has me, intrigued as soon as you said the name.
Oh, it
So
was funny. Yeah, that story, that I remember that story being very humorous,
very
and
here. Okay.
with the family. And I think there's some, if I remember correctly, there's some type of interracial marriage and family mixing going on, and this is pretty, it's pretty comical, pretty
Right.
interesting. Yeah.
That the NW kind of reminds me of the movies, because we love our movies and we do our esoteric breakdowns on movies. But one of the themes that you commonly see is someone who is a recluse for whatever reason, and some desperate situation comes that prompts them to go back into a world they kind of left behind. So I'm interested to see if NW offers that as well.
Yeah, yep, you're right. I'll be interested to
Because
find
that
that out
forced
as
out of
well.
seclusion thing is what made me think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll definitely be curious about that as well.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I love the author recognition thing. And you know how we always talk about every time we do Unread, especially the Surprise Me weeks, we never talk about what we're going to bring. And believe it or not, the reason I chose this book was not only what is going on in the world today that made me want to bring it, but it was the author recognition. It
Recognize
was
all.
the
Yeah.
author that I've done extensive studies on his works over the years, and I thought this one was awesome to bring today. But definitely I love the fact that that's why you picked that one, because of that author recognition. And I think that's important, that people get familiar with authors and their writing styles and things like that, because you will find more things that'll probably interest you that you didn't think would, when you find, because again, that writing style, the flow, all of that is very important. I know for me, a lot of the books that I've laid down, and I'm sure you too, and our audience as well, books that just move too slow,
Yeah.
and you'd be like, you know what, I can I flip to the back? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
can I flip to the back?
Right.
So,
Speaking of that, an example comes to mind because I was recently having a conversation with someone about the Sister Soldier books and that series, and how everyone loves Coldest Winter Ever because of how it moves, but so many people dislike Midnight because it moves so slow.
so slow. I have to admit that I put that one down for it because it was slow. I had to pick it back up, but it did lay down for a minute. I guess just because, again, we read a lot too.
Yeah.
So we like things that kind of flow and, fit with, the pace of which, we like to kind of go through things. Not that it's a race ever, but, it's a personal thing. Like, we have goals. I don't know how many people listening. And if it's just your first time here with us, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. We have book goals around here. You know what I'm saying? We got book goals. And and it's a personal thing. It has nothing to do with each other. We joke around and we laugh and we play this light competition thing. But believe me, when I tell you that this is personal to each and every one of us, it really is. And we strive to bring books to you that not only have impacted us, but we feel are important moving forward, in the education, in the continuing education of our people. That's why we have so many of these old books that we bring, because of the simple fact they never go out of style. They always in style. You just bring a new thought to it. You know what I mean? And
right.
And I tell you, today, with so many things changing rapidly, and history, quote unquote, trying to be erased, it's important that we have these books in our libraries. So if you have a library, continue to build your library. If you don't have a library, start today.
Mm-hmm. Is it me or I can't hear you? Is it me or I don't know. I don't know if anybody's in the chat that can tell me if they can still hear Roo, but I can't hear you anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I
I can
back?
hear you now.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you
That,
now. Okay, all right.
that was my son from the UK trying to call me. Look at that. He heard me
Oh,
talking
okay,
about
okay.
He heard me talking about him. Must have. But anyway, he should be watching. That's what he should be doing. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I want to thank you, Nick, for bringing Zadie Smith to us. NW sounds like a great book. And what I was saying to everyone is truly important. If you have a library, continue to build it. If you don't, start one today. Start with one book. That's all it takes. You start with one, and journal, because these become a part of your books as well. Part of what helped me bring this one back.
Oh boy.
Woo!
Here we
So
go.
first of all, wait a minute. Do we hit? That's a hardcover, right?
You hear a hardcover.
That's a hardcover, right? So, all right. So, I love this author. Okay. So, being a Jersey girl, I don't look for Jersey authors specifically, but when I find one, I'm like, ooh, and want to know what they were doing. Well, Walter Bell, 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 Denny, Denny, is an author that I found, believe it or not, traveling to Arizona.
Okay.
So, back when I was a younger lady, I would travel around looking for books. I still do this, but when I was young, I was like on a mad pursuit. Like I would just go anywhere for a book, right? Mm-hmm. And I heard about this bookstore that was out in Arizona by out there near a friend that I knew, and I was like, I need to go to this library. I need to go to this bookstore, and I need to go to the library. Well, when I got out there, I found this old book, and I love, Nick, that you just put up recently, how I told you books be calling me. Yeah. They be talking to me. They be like, come here. So his books came to me, and he is he's a writer, and he writes a lot on theological things. So all things spiritual, things like that. And it's older. So this book that I'm bringing this week is from 1934. Woo. 1934, and it is The Career and Significance of Jesus.
What in the world? The Career and the Significance?
Yes.
What in
the Career and the Significance of Jesus.
What?
Yes. See it, my friend. See it. So
what in the world?
And it was made out to someone named Theodore Brindle. So shout out Theodore Brindle for putting this book in the bookstore so I could get it. And, before I go too far, I want to say, before I talk about why I picked it up and everything, because like I said, it was author recognition. I want to talk about where I got the book. And the reason why is we were just talking about bookstores and how we lose a lot of our bookstores and things like this. Well, I'm big on my bookmarks. My original bookmark from this store,
Wonder Book,
and they are still online, and I believe they have 3 locations, right? They are all in Maryland, and I got this book on 12/4/2017, and it cost me a whole $7.38.
Woo!
Yes. A whole $7.38. I still have my invoice. That's what makes it so funny, because I keep stuff like that for keepsakes.
Yeah.
You know, so I could tell people back in my day, you could get a book for $7. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about this book. So, Denny does a lot of spiritual writing. He does some wonderful books, and the thing I love about his books is that his books are teaching books.
Okay.
They don't just give you a bunch of information. They are books that walk you through chapters. At the end, you have questions, you have, assignments. You always have these things. And he was doing this back in the 20s and the 30s. And this is still the style that I use now as Dean of Education for my organization, is that when we put together anything, we put together questions and things that we can apply for today. And that is something that he does well in here. So let's talk about it. Like I said, book was done in the 30s, 1934, by Thomas Nelson and Sons in New York. Walter Bell Denny is a professor of philosophy and religion, and he was at Russell Sage College. Okay. And the first printing of this book was 33. Second printing was 34, and the third printing was at the end of 34. Table of contents. And as you can see, I keep this book in excellent condition. I refuse to let anything happen to this book because it's so amazing. Like, I was sitting here trying to prepare my notes, and it felt like I just wanted to not do unread and sit down and just do some lessons. So that's how you know it still has this. So I got this book because here at MaWu Lisa Temple, when we study, we like to look at things from different perspectives, and we tell people that inside of every book, just like my Nana told me, is 99 lies and one truth, and it's your duty to go in and find that one if you want it. So I take on that challenge with every book that I pick up, and let me just say, the table of contents in this baby ain't no joke. So in the foreword, he talks to the teachers and students, and that's what he does. He lets you know. He said this book is designed primarily for one semester course of 3 hours per week. He even give you the breakdown. He said this book is for one semester, 3 hours a week, and it will serve equally well, however, for a 2-hour session by omitting part 2, because part 2 get deep on you, right? So it says the entire course is based upon the students' firsthand study of selected portions of the Bible. Now, Nick, when we brought some other stuff to the table before about any spiritual text, we always talk about what was actually going on in that time. Not what we see now, what was there then. And one of the things about this book that's very important is that they do a historical reference to maps. And we'll see what's very important about that as I continue to share, inshallah. So in the first chapter, he does the career of Jesus. And people say, well, what career did he have? He had a job. You know what I mean? He had a job. His job was, uplift fallen humanity like the rest of us, right? But it was a way in which he went about it. So it talks about the growth of the gospel tradition, writing the 4 gospels, the birth of Jesus itself, the growth of Jesus, political and religious conditions in Palestine. Remember that one, okay? The national problem in Jesus's time. Remember that one. The call of Jesus, the message and the program of Jesus to his people, the opening of the Galilean campaign, rise of opposition, inner circle, the kingdom of God and his coming, Jesus as a wonder worker. I mean, when I tell you this, that's just in part 1. And part 2, remember he said if you skip it, you could do just 2 hours of study versus 3. But in the part 2 is the significance of Jesus, and that would bring us, if we were doing this as a study right now, that would bring us forward with this other stuff that I'm going to talk about with Palestine, etc. Okay, so it tells us that our knowledge of the life of Jesus Christ is derived mostly and wholly from the 4 gospels, and it's only a few references to Jesus's career, especially to his character. And while these are not numerous, they are important. the Jewish historian Josephus, who, I'm gonna slip that book in there one day. I really was so tempted to bring it as a backup book today, but it's like this thick. So I was like, let me just stop with the madness, right? So it's it says so the Jewish historian Josephus, who wrote the last decade in the first century AD, makes one or two references to Jesus and John the Baptist and later references. Okay, so where do I want to go? I want to start right here with the Palestine piece, and that's chapter 5. So I know I'm jumping ahead, but again, if I was to sit here with you and give you every favorite part of this book, we will be here for hours. But I wanted to bring this forward. Now, let me just say in advance, for anyone listening right now, anyone listening in the future, not now or at any time have I ever been a historian in cartography, which is map life, right? Nor am I an expert in history. However, because sacred studies, of all religions have been a part of my life for about 30 years or so, I've studied a lot of maps, and I've learned a lot about how the topography changes, you know what I'm saying, depending on when it was and the maps that they were using, etc. So where you might find something today, you wouldn't find it tomorrow. For example, people don't realize in New Jersey at one time, Newark went all the way up to West Caldwell. That was all Newark. It was not separate. It wasn't West Orange, East Orange, Valesburg. Nope, it was all Newark, all the way up to West Caldwell and beyond, Livingston area included. But anyway, so that's important in understanding this work, because you remember he said that this study is for those who have already began to study this type of work and where things were, because it was important to the politics of what was taking on. Whenever people think about Jesus, first of all, they think, all kinds of miracles and things like that, which is great. But they forget that it was a very political side to what was going on back then, why the church wanted to take place. Why the church wanted to make sure that certain things were in place, why politicians wouldn't allow certain things to be in place, etc. And the fact that we have been having so many problems in Palestine and other places that are mentioned in this work in 1934, mind you, 1934. So we wonder where the root of some stuff comes from. And we be looking real close to us. Sometimes the root is back. You know what I mean? Is back there. So the fact that chapter 5 here talks about the political and religious conditions in Palestine is very important. And it says an outline for the map study. If possible, use a large raised map of Palestine to supplement the smaller maps in this book. If each of the following details is traced out carefully on the map and then learned thoroughly, the student will be provided with all the really important geographical background for the study of Jesus's career. Because see, if we understand what this Jesus person was doing in this region at this time, we begin to understand what's going on in Palestine today. Okay? So right. It talks about the major physical divisions in Palestine. It talks about the political divisions during his time and now. Well, not now, but during his time compared to now. Scenes of the Galilean ministry, roots between Galilee and Jerusalem, which was important because, the people you're talking to is the people within your route. So these are the people that you affect when you are doing your work. And it talks about the Roman government of Palestine and Herod the Great. And if you are not familiar with Herod the Great and his kingdom, he had 3 sons. And when he died, he split the land up between the 3 of them. But what was different was he didn't allow them to be kings. And so that has a lot to go on with what's going on today. I'm telling you, it's very cheeky. It's very cheeky. very scandalous, very wicked, is all the things. It's all the things. Like, you could really end up having a heated debate, but with this kind of stuff in your hand, you have something that other people don't have, which is another perspective of what was really going on in that time. We only hear what they're telling us right now. And most people, unfortunately, won't do the due diligence to go back and see the root of how all of this started. Trust me, ain't nobody just woke up one day and say, oh, we're going to pick on these people, or these people going to pick on us. It comes from a long-standing problem, you know. And it started with the division of his land and the rights that were taken away from his sons. And then it went on to talk about his cruelty and things like that in the Jewish Sanhedrins. So, you know, you talked about the Bhagavad Gita and some of the other, you know, as your part of your reading now and things like that. Again, you have to remind people what was going on in one part of the land wasn't going on everywhere, you know, and we tend to look at the world that way. When we hear a story about something, we think, oh, this is what was going on, but that was only there. Good afternoon. Okay, so moving forward, the national problem in Jesus' time. It talked about the apocalyptic idea of God and how they turned God into this apocalyptic, vengeful, frightening being that was supposed to be doing all these things like this. And then he talks about the Son of Man and how he referred to himself as the Son of Man. And they talked about the feelings going on in that time and the political unrest that was going on. It says, during the lifetime of Jesus, his country was aflame with political unrest and agitation. Rome governed with an iron hand. Every patriotic Jew resented with all his passionate soul the forced necessity of submitting to a foreign yoke. Every new taxation, every fresh cruelty of the Roman or Herodian administrators, every new intrusion of foreign customs or foreign religion into the land was resented not only as a new token of servitude, but as an insult to Jehovah, who had given Palestine to Israel for his own possession and who had planned for his chosen people the destiny of the greatest nation on earth. Now, you know, in order to talk about this, we need to go and see who were the Jews then that they were talking about. This is when I need my Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters to jump in the chat and start talking that talk. But we gonna let that go, right? But let me just move forward to the end of this chapter for a minute, and I want to show you how they have the further reading at the end of every chapter. There's further reading and questions. Sometimes they'll have a lot of questions, sometimes they'll have a few, but it's always further reading involved as well. It says, why have the evidences of the Jewish Roman problem been so largely obliterated in the records? So in other words, why ain't nobody talking about this? Why to this day nobody's talking about this? What really happened? Why it really happened? What was really going on at the time? It says, why were all three of the popular solutions of the Jewish Roman problem suicidal for the Jewish nation? Not the Jews, but the Jewish nation. And what's the difference? Yeah. And then it asked the question, and this is tying into something I'll be reminding our audience about later about upcoming events and roundtables. It says, does war ever promote friendship among nations? This is 1934. They asking this question.
Wow.
Does it ever? When has war ever produced anything but more war? And it goes on and tells you, it's some more reading here. further reading The Jewish Apocalyptic Ideas by Dougal and Emmett, The Lord of Thought is the name of that book.
Interesting.
So let's move on forward a little bit, because like I said, I have so much highlighted here that I wanted to share, and I'll probably share this in another video, you know, when we can have more time to just kind of kick in and talk about each in particular point. But here's one that that I think is important, because one of the things we talk about is we love to have writers on this spot here. On our platform, we love new writers. We love old writers. If you wrote a book, reach out to us. We want to share it. I'm gonna tell you why your writing is so important, scribes. It says the scribes had loaded down the Sabbath with a great burden of intricate regulations and special prohibitions. Religion to them consisted in just the sort of thing. It talks about how those who use the pen tell the story. Don't have to be an accurate story. It's their version of the story. And they mention that in here several times. And not only that, they mention the fact that a lot of the things that were contributed to Jesus had nothing to do with anything he ever said. It was their interpretation of. And that's why, again, writing is what it is. When you write a story, you write from the perspective in which you're writing. And this is what these people were doing. They were writing from their own political perspective. They were writing from their own religious perspective. They were writing from their own atheist perspective sometimes. Sometimes they were writing just in the way of being able to make more money. You know what I mean? So again, taxation was a big taxation, land, sovereignty, all the things that's going on right now is the major part of what it is that Jesus was supposed to be sharing and flipping tables over back there at this time. So why we act like they don't know, right? So I mean, always taking things for, you know, always taking things off the page, like, you know, this had to be like it was, when again you have to begin to look at things in a different way, right? It says it talks about how Jesus couldn't be attacked openly. They couldn't openly attack him. It talked about, and it says the key thing in which Jesus pointed out was that the religion lies in the usefulness of its helping. So in other words, it doesn't matter if it's true or false. It matters, how did it affect you, and how is it going to make you want to be better?
That's a great point.
You see what I'm saying? We see a lot of things going on. How are you going to interpret that? How do you make a better you from that? And that was one of the things they said. And they said that the plot of the scribes of the Pharisees, they were trying to basically say that he was saying something wrong, but they couldn't, because he didn't say anything wrong. He was just offering a different perspective in which to look at something. It says and it says the popularity of Jesus with the common people suggested the need for subtlety. They had been beating religion. They had been beating people over the head with religion and politics, beating them over the head. He came in like, hey, let me talk to you about this thing right here. Let me show you how I float on water. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you could believe that he floated on water, or did he float on water? So that's a whole nother thing, right? And it says, it went on to say, the questions here, I love the questions at the end of this one. It says, is anger consistent with love? What a question, right? For then and for now.
Yeah.
Is anger consistent with love? And it also asks, if a man were to appear among us, living as a pure life and teaching the same theories of life and religion that Jesus taught, what would become of him? Wow. This was 1934. This is 2026.
Yeah.
What do you think would become of them? What do you think would become of them? I think that's a powerful question to ponder.
Yes, it is.
You know? And you know, like I said, I got bunches of notes that I want to talk about, but I'm gonna talk about this one, and then I'm gonna stop for questions if there's any from the audience. Nick, you know this one right here is personal to me.
Okay.
All right, so it talks about the inner circle. And the 12 disciples.
Yes.
And how he chose the 12 disciples.
Okay.
Because you know that's my big thing. Well, how do you vet the people? How do you decide who's gonna be on your side? How you decide, you know, who not? Did you know Judas was gonna betray you? I mean, like, what are these things we asking, right? So it talks about the inner circle, and it talks about the great multitude, and he appointed the 12 and the scribes that came down from Jerusalem. And one of the things that they mentioned that I find very important in here is that when you read the story of the Bible as it stands right now, it's made to seem like his choosing of these 12 was almost random, right? He was a fisher of men. He saw these men and he went to the fishermen. He got the fishermen, blah, 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 right?
Yes.
What they explain in here and what they walk you through in here is that it by no means was it a coincidence, was no means the first time that he ever met them. He studied their character before approaching them. You understand what I'm saying? Before approaching them, because why would I bring some thought-provoking information to someone who is completely closed-minded and have their mind made up on what it is they already believe? So I can't come to you. Like it said, he had to come with subtlety because they had been beating the people in the head so much that they were opposed to anything that sounded like religion or politics. Just like now, when you try to talk to anybody, the stuff we talking about right now, somebody gonna be like, why is he talking about Jesus? They always talking about Jesus and Allah and God and angels and they. Listen, bruh, sis. Y'all don't even know what you listen. Don't let them words fool you. Don't let them words fool you or work away from your refinement, yo. There's some refinement in this stuff. It ain't listen, it don't matter if it was ever a person, physical person walking named Jesus. We got some excellent opportunities for lessons here. It tells us even here that everything was in the form of a parable. Look at this, the parable address. It talks about that right here. And it says, because everything came from the teaching source. And the teaching source is where we get the Sermon on the Mount and the other things like that. And it says there was probably a group of such parables in the teaching source, all dealing with the same general theme that were all introduced. Okay? And what he was basically trying to tell the people is, if you want to enjoy a peaceful peace of mind life here, you're going to have to be willing to separate from the madness that you see all around you. You know? Yes, especially, yes. Whoever that is, yes. I can't see as well as Nick can from his side, but yes, I agree.
Yes, Brother C.
Yes, Brother C. Thank you, Brother C. And he goes on to talk about Jesus as a great original teacher whose genius was to take the current idea of the kingdom of God and rethink it, giving it a new meaning of his own. Why won't we do that? Why won't we do that? Why? Why are we so afraid to say what the kingdom of God look like? I done one thing Nick and I talk about all the time, building our own paradise.
Yes,
you will not trap me in your ideas, in your thoughts, little as they are. Can't do it. right? And it says just enough. It says just enough like the old meaning to make the phrase the best approach he could find to the minds of his hearers, yet radically different as to the nature of the coming and the extent of the kingdom. We talk about radical. You got to be willing to just snatch away from this stuff sometimes, because it got your mind locked. It got your heart locked. It got your eyes covered, you know? And this is about ripping off the illusion, you know? And I'm gonna stop right there for a second because I'm hot right now. Woo!
I know. You heating it up in there, yeah.
You already know.
Yeah. I mean, you picked the right book for this the weather that we're having this weekend. You timed that right, because you was like, boy, I need some heat up in here. Let me warm it up. and this
baby.
Yeah, and this you know, this gas and this electricity in this home, it ain't cutting it. I need a little bit more.
Absolutely, I feel warm. I feel fine.
Yeah,
freezing outside, but I feel fine.
Mm-hmm.
So
So no questions in the chat, but I just gotta say that when it comes to making these scriptures relevant to today and tangible and useful, and instead of people just kind of waiting around for something to happen, waiting around for judgment, and just making sure they don't ascend too much with judgment, and make sure that they spread the gospel. Other than that, I think this book here really gives that guide to how to make it relevant. Well, not relevant, but make it even more tangible, and make it even more relevant for the day to day, and how to apply in the example of Jesus and the lessons he taught in the day-to-day basis. Like just with going outside and going to shop right. So Roo, you told me you got your groceries delivered, but think about if you actually went there today and all the craziness to shop right. This will be a real test on those lessons right here.
What? What a day!
And also what's so beautiful about this work is that it touches on both the internal self-development and, like you said, refinement, but it also directs itself outward and externally to the world around us, and how we interact with it, and the politics of things going on. I've heard a question posed to a couple Christian pastors. When I was listening to a few Fallen State interviews, I listened to those faithfully. But one of the questions that Jesse asked to Christians and pastors, he asked, should Christians be involved in politics?
What a nice question.
And then when you think about the story of Jesus and what he was doing at that time, he was head on with politics in the scripture. Maybe not politics in a way that we're thinking about it in this modern time, but he was definitely involved in some politics for sure.
Well, no, if you think about it, he was directly involved, just like we are today, because I don't know about anybody else, right? But unless you are proactively following the things that are going on around the world, You don't know why we get in half the fights we get in with people, or why we run into somebody's defense, or why two groups is fighting or whatever like that. You have to really be invested in the world to really be knowing what's going on out there, right?
Yeah.
He is showing you Denny is showing you in the book the foundation of some of the problems that were going on in Palestine, and the significance is Jesus's role as as an educator. That was his career, was going in and facing and opposing these horrible conditions under which people were being treated. So like I said, Herod had these 3 sons, but when he was the king and as he ruled, they talked about how cruel he was. And he was so controlling that not only did he, when he divided his land amongst his sons, because usually a son just succeeds. Mm-hmm. But what he did was he divided his land amongst his sons, made one a tiny bit higher than he made the other 2, but made them all just basically like landlords. He took away a lot of the rights they had to make rules on their own land and gave it to the politicians. So it goes back to that statement when it says, if you want a king set over you, and the people said yes, because they didn't want to do things for themselves. People don't want to think for themselves. Unfortunately, the majority of people. No disrespect, y'all. It's hard. Believe me. The way they keep us bombarded with nonsense, it is difficult to think about everything you would have to think about to really navigate this world every day. If we had to think about everything, it's hard enough to think about the things going on in your home. You know what I mean? Let alone the things going on in Palestine. Yeah. And then if you don't understand what's going on in Palestine, you just angry for no reason. You don't even know what you're mad about. At least know what you're mad about is all I'm telling people. At least know what you're mad about. Yep. I wanna go back in here for a second, because it talked about the character of Jesus again, and I again, like I said, I was gonna bring up some stuff that brings all of this together and ties it all together. It says, when he would look at them, the humanity of men and women, he saw a needy family. So when he looked at people in general, just the world, he saw a needy family. He basically saw his brothers and sisters, because it even mentions it here, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, he saw everyone in such need, in such desperation, in such fear of what was going on. Because again, the conditions of these merciless kings and rulers of the land had no regard for the people. So he saw them with a soft eye, and he says, like sheep not having a shepherd, he saw them hungry and foolish, trying to find their deeper satisfaction in the bread that perishes, in kingdoms and in thrones, in swords and in prosperity. To help them find themselves, to realize the dignity and the meaning and the power of their sonship to God, as he himself had realized it. This was his consuming interest, and he carried this world in his heart. Nick, first of all, I got a tear in my eye. Anybody that know me know I don't mind crying. I will do ugly tears. I couldn't give 2 shakes of raisins in a bowl. I'm gonna let you know I got tears in my eyes, because when I was a child, I was raised with my grandma a lot. Like, we spent summers at my grandma's house. And my grandma, she was paralyzed on her left side, and so she couldn't like go out a lot. So she watched TV a lot. So when it came to like church and all that stuff, you had Billy Graham and all that kind of stuff on the TV, and that Prophet Man and all that. Right? So she would sit up sometimes. You would see her sitting up in the middle of the night, and she'd just be rocking back and forth, watching TV, watching these gospel people talk or whatever. And she would put her head down sometimes, and she would just say, Jesus wept.
Mm.
And I promise you, I heard that from every elder, you just always was hearing this, Jesus wept, Jesus wept, Jesus wept. Well, I had no idea what it meant. You know, they give you a reason, but you don't really know till you know.
Mm-hmm.
Being a humanitarian all my life, I didn't even know what humanitarian meant. I couldn't even spell humanitarian. But being one all my life, somebody who cares so deeply about the people around me, I didn't understand that statement until one night that I did. I was sitting up and I was thinking about the things that was going on in the world, and I just cried. I just cried because I said to myself, my brothers and sisters don't even know the full power that they have because they so inundated and bombarded by the bullshit every day. You don't even have a chance to recognize your greatness because they keep you distracted with politics and religion. When what this is really about is refinement and humanity and treating people like you want to be treated. Don't you understand? Many of these religions, some of them, yes, was started with the root of power and all that stuff like that. But many times you genuinely found people who were trying to promote love and support and humanity and being humane to each other. And that's the importance of his career, you know what I'm saying, and the significance of his career, because it talks about taking you out of this locked way of thinking. We have been indoctrinated, people, whether we know it or not, each and every one of us. But see, you know, one of the things I was determined to do was I was determined to take what they gave me for my downfall and use it to continue to elevate. Quran, Torah, Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, Circle 7, any book you can put in my hand, I can show you how we can use it for refinement. And this one is no different. And it basically is really showing us that whether, you know, whatever Jesus was or is, because truly it's a way. It's not a he, you know, or she. It's a way. It says, in dealing with this crowd, his human sympathies are evident, and his high conception of the meaning of humanity. But friendship is a reciprocal relation. Can we say that out loud? Friendship is a reciprocal relation, people who don't understand what being a friend is. And this is why Marvin Sapp and them say, no longer do I cry when fake friends say goodbye.
Woo.
Go on now. Get yourself out of here because it's reciprocal. If you're not helping me rise, you are holding me in place or pulling me down. Either way, it's not acceptable. Either way. That's right. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. It says it requires the mutual responsiveness of two individuals to make it real. To make it real. Yo, I'm done. I'm done. Because see, I'm about to get up on my soapbox. You know, it's only Saturday, but you know, I do holy days every day. But baby, that'll put you on your soapbox right there. Because at this time, there's so much fighting going on. People are so afraid. And the people that we call our friends sometimes are the very problem.
Ain't that the truth?
You know, my mama said you ain't got no friends. Well, Mom, you might have been right. You might have been right, Mom. You might have been right. My mother was right about a lot of things, yo. You know, may Allah be pleased with her. At me, like my mom had boy, she had more things right than wrong. I tell you. Even if she didn't know how to put it into terms, you know what I'm saying? But she knew. And you know, at Mawulisatemple, Nick, you worked with us for the past several years. We've done Human Rights Week.
Yes.
And you know that now that we are here for spring, what are we going to be doing? Unmasking morality. And he goes into morality in here. He goes into morality and virtues in here, and how we determine, you know what I'm saying, right or wrong.
Yes. Yes.
What's
Yeah. He got both.
And what's not.
Yeah. He got both human rights and morality in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, do you understand how a 1934 book can help us today if we would go in with our fresh minds? Everybody think they so sharp. Yo, let me see. Show me. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, show me. You so sharp, show me. Because if we're as sharp as we think, we wouldn't keep getting the banana in the tailpipe that this world keep handing us. We have to think for ourselves, people. We have to come out of the me and think about the we. And when I say think about the we, that doesn't mean go out here and try to do things for everybody else. It means continue to work on yourself so you can be a shining example. People, you shouldn't have to tell people, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm a Jew. We should see it from your actions. We should see it from your actions. You so good, let me see. Because I'm going to tell you, half the stuff I see right now ain't real Christian-like at all. Ain't real Christian-like at all. We should be able to see who you are from your actions, your morals, your virtues, your standards. Your groups of friends, birds of feather flock together. We should be able to see these things. I should not need you to be like, well, I'm a good person. I should know that. You know why? Because your actions would show it. You wouldn't have to tell nobody about it. You wouldn't have to put it on Instagram. You wouldn't have to go on YouTube and talk about, look at what I did. You know, in Islam, they say to give so secretly that your left hand don't know what your right hand doing. Well, as a left-handed person, my left hand always know everything first. But my right hand be moving. And I don't have to tell nobody about it. You know how it's reflected in my life. Because I know when I am at my lowest self, and I think about humanity and the part that I have to play in uplifting fallen humanity, I check myself. Because at the end of the day, I ain't no Jesus, but damn it, I'm walking on water. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, excuse me. Air and water, because I'm an Aquarius. But that's all for me. The career and significance of Jesus. Walter B. Bell Denny. He is amazing. And let me just say, this is one of my best finds, man. Like I love this book so much. And again, the questions can never get old. The studying of the maps could never get old. The studying of the history of the land itself could never get old. It's a wonderful book. It's a wonderful reference book. It is a read, unread, reread, will read again, referred to as often as possible resource book. So if you can get yourself, I'm sure they have a PDF copy or something available, or maybe you'll be fortunate enough to find a copy like I did. But please put this one on your shelves, people. And if nothing else, go in and just take a few of them questions and sit down with a notebook and see where your morals stand. And if you want to hang out with us talking about unmasking morality over on MaWu Lisa Temple, that'll be over on our other platform. We'll be over there doing that from spring until summer. Unmasking morality, talking about moral standards, virtues, etc.
Yeah, can't wait. Lots of great things. Yeah, lots of great things coming up.
Yes.
And yes, I love that offering. And I did a quick search while you were presenting it, and they do have a copy on eBay. And it's the bids are low for it. So go ahead and jump on that.
Absolutely. Whoever gets that book, let me know. And if you ever want to talk about it, I'll be glad to. That's one of the things that Nick and I offer outside of this space is the opportunity to expound upon the books that we bring in this space. We know we only have you for a little time here on Saturday, and we don't want to take up all your time. But believe me, this is what we do all day, every day. In our work and in our play. This is what we do. And I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. It's one of my joy places, one of my happy places. Just always realizing that I can be better. Always. And I'll find all the ways I can to make that happen. And, reframing a lot of this work that we have available to us already is definitely a way to go.
For sure. So in closing on the career and significance of Jesus, I know we talked about some of the things that are going on in the world, especially with Palestine and everything that's going on there. My question is, I guess it's a multi-part question, but it's all dealing with the same overarching topic about how this looks, the contents of the book and the questions and the teachings in there, how they're reflected presently, and if we see them reflected presently, that would be my question. What if anything do you notice from that book being put into action now? Like, do you see any current examples of that? And if not, how might that look to you, going forward?
Thank you. That's a great question. And again, I'm no expert in geography, topography, cartography, or the history of that landmass. However, because of doing spiritual studies, you study all that region because that's where all that stuff came from. You do begin to get a little familiar with some of what was going on at the time. Again, some of the places that we call the current names now were not that then. And some of the understanding about what we knew about those lands back then and versus now is different. If I was to say one thing that stood out to me as the key factor of what's going on over there and how we can see what he talks about directly in here to there is the dividing of the land. And the way that the Father divided the land, the way that he divided the land, and how it was always a constant fight for that land and who it belonged to rightfully. And again, you remember they talked about the Jews versus the Jewish nation, and so a few other things there. So these things are places that I would look at right now in the position that's going and the things that's going on right now, and be able to better say, what position that will put us in for the future. But what I do know is we see the cruelness, we see the greed, we see a dividing of a land that don't belong to none of them. None of them. Dividing of a land that don't belong to them, that was stolen in the first place. You know, I always thought it was funny how somebody could fight over something that they stole.
That is funny.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I stole your jacket, but I'm gonna fight with somebody over this jacket. You know, I'm gonna fight with you over your jacket that I stole from you.
Yeah. You like, or when they were casting lots for Jesus's clothes, they got into an argument.
Yo. Hey, don't they do that with the Shroud of Turin anyway? Somebody trying to get some DNA up out of it, but we ain't gonna talk about none of that. But anyway, but yeah, that's definitely how I would see. I would see the land division, the cruelty, the church and the state fighting where they should not be involved in each, you know, in each of the things, and just the lack of concern for the future of humanity. And because we have to really be honest. If you look at the moral code of a lot of people right now, the virtues, the standards, the principles are sad, man. We are living in some funky times.
Yes, we are. Yes,
we are living in some funky times. And you know, like my mom used to say, you don't need nobody to tell you when you're doing wrong. You know. You know. You know, and that's what he talks about here. And that's one of the things we talk about in Unmasking Morality, is your moral code and checking it to see where you stand today, where you stood before, where you stand right now, and what you're looking at moving forward. Because some people on a quick trajectory to just not giving a flying fig Newton. You know what I mean? But some are deeply hurt like he was and want to do something desperately. We see the world as these hungry, unclothed, uneducated, uncivilized folk, and we really shouldn't be there. This is 2026. We got all this technology, and yet you walk around fully ignorant, willfully ignorant, not willing to change your perspective because that's what your mama's said. And he talks about that and how the scribes would keep these traditions even knowing that they were antiquated and they had no place in the present day in which they were writing, but they would write them in there for control. So that's how I see it in relevance to today and what's going on over there. And again, like I said, I'm no expert in what's going on over there right now, but I know when I read books like this, before it ever even happened over there, I'm like, ooh, I seen that coming. Because he said we was coming back to that. Because it has to come to an end. Just like it started, it has to come to an end.
And that's and that's over there. And when it comes to being over here, that's where the concern for humanity comes in. That's where the refinement comes in. That's where the morality comes in. You know, so that's how we use the information in that book, and the knowledge in that book for over here as well.
Absolutely. You know, and I want to say also, we have to remember one of the things that they said Jesus's gifts, one of his gifts besides subtlety is that people liked him. People liked him because of his approach. He was approachable. You know, he didn't allow people's status or anything to keep them from sitting at a table with him. He would talk with anybody. He would hang with anybody. And what one of the Pharisees accused him of was that by him hanging with all these low vibrating people, that he was low vibrating, and he had to show. He said, "Oh no, I'm the frequency, bro. I'm the number. I'm the one. Trust that. When they with me, they on my level. I don't go down there. And
Woo.
that's how we have to feel too. Without any arrogance, very, very modest. I don't use the word humble, very modest. Modestly, we have to be like, oh no, frequency is up here. I'm not going down there.
Oh yeah, and you'll notice that they do rise to the occasion with very, very little resistance.
Very little, because people want to be better. At the core, people want to be loved. They want to be liked. And you know, we've made that such an ugly thing. Oh, you seeking people's man. Don't nobody want to be the Grinch. You know what I'm saying? Because even what did the Grinch show? He just wanted some love too. That's all he
that's
wanted.
what it came down to.
That's all it ever come down to. Don't we understand morals of stories? The moral of the story is that's how morals are formed. Shaped and molded.
Shaped and molded.
You feel me? You know, it's a wonderful thing when you start doing something because it's just the thing to do versus somebody telling you to, or watching you, or paying you to do it, or you trying to impress somebody. You just do it because it's good, because it feels good, because it is good, because you're helping something and helping somebody. But first and foremost, you're helping yourself. Again, I don't know how half the people sleep at night. Oh, that's right. They take Ambien. Huh, disclaimer, I ain't hating no Ambien, but I am. You know, they taking all these medications and things to go to sleep. You know why you can't sleep? Because your mind is restless. You know why your mind restless? Because your soul restless. Your spirit restless. Because it know it's supposed to be doing something else. You ain't supposed to be part of this world. You're supposed to be in the world, but not of it, my friends. In the world, but not of it. That don't determine who I am out there. I decide who I am. You feel me? Woo. I am that I am because I am. And for me, it's because I know. Hey, Aquarius. But seriously, you know, it's a great book. Great reference. If anybody's interested in any of his other work, I would tell you, go ahead, look it all up. He got some great work. Jersey brother. Boop, boop. Shout out Jersey, Brick City.
Woo. Drop a bomb on them, get some shouts going on in here, some hallelujahs, and amens.
Some amens, some ashes. All of them.
Yep, start hitting the drums, start hitting the organ and all that. That's the moment.
Tambourines. Give me all of it. Give me all of it. I'm here for it. Matter of fact, I want Kirk Franklin to do the remix. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Ooh. But thank you everybody for allowing me to share this. This is one of my favorites, yo. This is one of my favorites. Like I said, it's in great condition. It's in great condition to be a 1934 book, you know. Great condition. I take pretty good care of my books because I plan on having them for my great grandbabies.
Yeah.
Along with all these funny videos.
Because listen, that's how we have books from. We still have books from the 1800s and the 1700s and all of that, because they were thinking legacy, and long term.
Yes.
So they left the books, and then the people that came at them, they saw how important these works are, and they took care of them, because we can't just take for granted that they just going to print more of them.
No, we cannot. Look at what they're doing right now.
Yes. Between the censorship and between the business side of it, when it comes to who's going to make what money and what's going to be licensed to who and all that. Absolutely. You cannot assume that these books will continue to be printed.
Absolutely. Or if they are printed, if you'll be able to afford them at some point. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I saw one book that I wanted. It done went up to about $1,400, and I'm like, whoo! It go higher and higher every year. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yes, yes.
eventually, I'm gonna have to just break the piggy bank and just go snatch down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially if it's one of those books that the circulation is decreased, like it's in less circulation, you can, it's hard to find copies of it. Yeah, those are the ones that going through the roof.
They
Yeah.
do. I think about one of my favorite books, The African Origin of Biological Psychiatry by Dr. King. That's one of my favorite books, yo. Word is bond. This is, I ain't even brought that to UnRead. It's so powerful. It's just like, you would need to give me like the day to bring that book. But I love that book. And I remember, I was going to say, I remember when I got it, it was like 1991, right? I was telling somebody about this book because I talked about it so much that they were just like, oh, where can I find this book? Now, mind you, by this time, it's already like in the 2015s where somebody came back to me and said, that book is like $600. And I said, hey, well, guess what? I got mine for like $24.99. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to hold on to that baby until I can't hold it no more. You feel me? But again, it's such a short time. Sometimes book value just will go up, because it's a rare printing or what have you. So, and we both know about that, Nick. We got some books on our shelves. They don't even print no more.
Yeah. You never know what book, whether you have it, whether you possess it or not, will become one of those rare printings. Like even if it's new, it could come out this year, and it could end up being one of those rare printings in the future.
You know what? I will let for all my brother and sister writers out there. I will that your book become a collector's edition because I want it. Make sure you sign mine, please, when you come to UnRead. Thank you very much. We got a couple, Nick. We got a couple. And look, in closing today, let me just say, Nick and I, we talking about some of our upcoming guests. If you are not one of them, please get yourself on this list because we love bringing the fire to you, and you guys keep the fire lit inside of us. And I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you for allowing us to share these books with you that we love. Sharing our laughter and our tears and everything with you. We here with it, and we are just grateful to be able to be a part of the legacy that will be, for all of us. So I appreciate y'all.
Indeed. Yep. And I appreciate you all too. And listen, we got another, this was another one. We don't miss. We do not miss with these shows. We've been bringing you consecutive hits for 39 shows.
Yes.
39 consecutive hits.
Yes. Yes. You know what? And just knowing that we've been able to share that many books has been really a lot of fun. And I look forward to sharing so many more.
No, I do too.
I look forward to it.
I can't wait because as I'm going through my collection, the collection continues to grow too.
Yes. We don't never stop adding on.
Oh yeah, new books are being added to the library at least every couple of months.
Hey Nick, I snuck in about 6 on you at the end of 25.
Yeah, she did. It's true. You go back.
I added like 6 books to the list.
Yeah, you can go back and watch the tape. It's true.
Yes, I had to sneak them in there because Nick be on me, boy, and I be on him. But I love it though. It's the best friendly competition you could ever have.
Yes,
is just being able to be enjoying bliss, sharing something that'll help us be better individuals, uplift fallen humanity, and continue to work on our self-refinement. I love that. I love that for us, all of us.
Yes,
All of
I
us.
do too. I do too.
Thank you so much. Okay, I can't read that for me, Nick.
Oh yeah, from C. He says, I truly appreciate the wealth of knowledge shared today. A huge thank you to Nick for hosting such an insightful live lesson. Yes,
Yes.
Nick
Thank
and Roo.
you.
Yes.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I hope you join us again and maybe even come on the platform and talk about one of your favorite books. I would really love that.
Yes. I would too. Yeah.
Absolutely. We this is our space, please. Much like over on Clubhouse, we invite you in. Long as you don't disrespect yourself or nobody else, you more than welcome in here. So if you got, if you ever want to come up on this platform, don't ever hesitate to let us know. We are more than glad to host you.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, think that's it. That's it.
Woo! Look, I done made the sun go away and everything. Now it's getting cold in here again. See, I
feel it too.
Wait a minute, I gotta heat myself back up. Wait a minute.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She about to go and study after we get off line.
You know it. I got something else I'm working on right now. But you know what? Thank you, everybody. I'm your sister Roo, up here upstate New York, Hudson Valley. Loving you guys. Always welcoming you guys to be a part of everything that we got going on. I really enjoy sharing with you guys, and I look forward to you sharing with us as well. Nick, you can take us on up out of here, bro. I can't wait for the next one. Let them know when it's gonna be, Nick.
Yeah. And she especially can't wait. I mean, obviously because we always love talking about books, but it's also going to be the week of her divine day too.
I didn't even think about that.
So she gonna be extra excited.
Now I gotta find something super good to bring. Oh man.
It's gonna be her divine day and my mama's divine day that week. As a matter of fact, that the day of UnRead is my mama's, and Roo's is earlier in the week. So
yes, I'm excited. Maybe we should get your mom to come on and share a book with us.
I'll see. She pretty, she pretty private. So
I know. At least you can offer us one. Tell her to give us her favorite, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, yeah, we can do that because I don't even think she got a picture on her. I'm much surprised she got a Facebook anyway, but she don't even got a picture up there. That's how.
I ain't mad at her at all. Very Orwellian. I appreciate it.
Yeah, very Orwellian. Exactly. Probably read some Orwell or watched some of those type of movies back in the day. So I get it.
I get it too. Absolutely.
I get it. But yes, February 7th. That's the next time you'll see us. Like I said, right after Roo's Divine Day. So she gonna be on one.
Yes.
I'm here for it. I'm sure the rest of y'all are gonna be here for it too. So we'll see you then. Looking forward to the first Saturday in February. So have a great rest of your January. Stay warm, stay safe, stay inside.
Read a book.
Read a book too. And willfully we'll see you next time. UnRead Book Review with Nick and Roo. We out. Peace.
Peace.